It's WG bringing you SNB, and if you're playing this game and you've taken any look at social media or any tier list or anything else, it's always Lamia here, Lamia there, Lamia, 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 and you're like, I didn't play the beta. Who the hell is Lamia and why should I care? So you personally, the only information you're going to get is that she looks like this. But that's all you know about Lamia. Obviously you can see that she's a sorcerer and a bloodborne, and you see how she works. But Lamia's banner is in 15 hours, and I'll be showing you her kit, as well as also obviously her faction, all that good stuff, and telling you exactly why she's so hyped and why everybody has been advised to save every single gem you can or every single blood tier you can, because once again, in the Embrace, you won't be able to use these item scrolls to do the summons. No, you will either be only able to use gems or through the login, or obviously through packets, these special vestiges of love. So you can see it's a different color, right? They're like more darker and they're red. Dark and red. So those are the scrolls you're going to be able to use. Right, so this is who Lamia is going to be. So a SSR, non-ancestral, so none of the special 6, but she is a bloodborne. She has the light armor type. Light armor type always means you have the most focus on offensive stats on your armor, meaning the offensive potential of such a character is always higher than of someone with medium armor or even specifically heavy armor. She's also full moon type as well as magic damage. You can't quite read it, but what it does say, if you look at it, it says mid-range, bounce damage, and healing. So, Lamia, what is she all about and why is everybody so hyped for her? So, Lamia's basic attack bounces between 4 enemies, dealing 135% magic damage each. So it's a form of AoE damage, which for example is superior to, let's say, a Helsing doing a single attack for 150%. She does a total of, if you were to calculate it, 540% to overall 4 enemies. But the bread and butter, the most important part about Lamia is this right here: family honor. When Blood Moon is active, all allied units gain 25% lifesteal. So the way a Blood Moon works is you have these moon phases. She is part of the full moon, then you also have the new moon and you'll have the crescent moon. And if you play all of them in any order, you then enter into a Blood Moon where you deal 25% more damage and your ultimates cost 1 less. And during that time, every single unit on your team is going to get boosted by lifesteal 25%, where lifesteal converts a portion of the damage dealt into HP recovery. So let's say, for example, you activate the Blood Moon Lamias on your team and you use the ultimate of one of your, let's say, single target characters, and you hit someone for 10,000 damage. All of a sudden, your hero heals for 2,500 without any intervention from a healer necessary. Then you've got the special. After basic attack deals damage 8 times, one insatiable blood servant is awakened, which deals 150% attack magic damage to the target with a guaranteed crit hit before disappearing. A maximum of 8 insatiable blood servants can be active, which works with the ultimate, where you launch a projectile that bounces between the target and hits up to 8 targets, prioritizing different targets. So if you shoot it at a group of 5, it's going to hit all 5 before it hits someone it has already hit. Each hit deals 600% damage at maximum level. If repeated targets are hit, the damage is reduced by 50%. So you're doing a bit less damage, but still there is a significant single target damage potential even on this. For each new unit hit, she summons 1 insatiable blood servant. So if you were to hit a group of 8, everybody is getting hit, and then everybody furthermore gets hit by the 150% magic damage from the Scarlet Vessel Dance. So overall, you have a AoE magic damage dealer that is also, so you have a really offensively geared unit that is also capable of sustaining your team. And the reason why this is so important is we go a bit into it by me showing you a couple of team combinations where she fits in, as well as also a couple pieces of content where she's going to be absolutely magnificent. Alright, so let's talk about content and team combinations. Content is super obvious, the ones where you need AoE damage, like for example the second fight or the second gear dungeon, if you want to call it that, where you can get your gear pieces that you unlock once you beat chapter 7, 8. Baphomet, the Spirit Keiko Demon, he's only vulnerable to AoE damage pretty much, but that is one of the major points where you're going to use her. But now let's talk a bit about team building and as a whole. So for example, a cappella is, especially once you get to 150 summons and you can pick her for herself, she's pretty much going to be a staple in every team because you get 35 or up to 35% more rage regen. So she's already a staple, and then you already have yourself a crescent moon already ready. And then next up, you can pretty much right here think about slotting in another healer. So for example, Starry-Eyed Iona or Normal Iona, or even a tank with healing capacity. This spot is kind of pretty open, so it's either, for example, a second healer or another tank. So what you're going to notice is most of these units, if you were to sort by them, are actually of the new moon phase, like for example, Friedrich as a tank, Bella as a tank, and then also, like for example, Starry-Eyed Iona, Yggdrasil, Normal Iona, Theophane. All of these fulfill this role, and then most of the like true full-on DPSs are of the full moon phase. So let's just for a moment imagine, all right? Let's imagine that this Lamine is actually a Lamia, all right? Let's imagine this Lamine being a Lamia. Pretty much same range, similar-ish enough function, and all of a sudden, not only do we have one source of healing, but potential second source with our cut moon, and then a third source right here. And then also, the lower you are in BP to your target, the higher you're going to get hit. So staying alive is quite important, where, for example, it can come in really useful if you were to run a formation like this. Now, this might not look like much, but you have overall 4 sources of tankiness in one team. You have 2 healers, you have a damage dealer, you have a tank, and then you would, for example, fill this out with, let's say, a good old Van Helsing to have another damage dealer in there to give you a good amount of survivability, nice healing, and then AoE damage as well as some more AoE damage, or even more in the direction of single target damage. But what if you are survivable enough? And what if a Lamia enables you to, for example, say, oh, I don't even need a tank. Huh? Like for example, you take out the tank, and because you have the healing, because you have the lifesteal, because you have all these other factors coming together, for example, shields from a Starry-Eyed Iona, all of a sudden you can bring in another DPS. So now we have, for example, 3 sources of AoE damage. Or instead of AoE damage, we could also be looking for a source of single target damage, like for example, Ressa right here. So it has been pretty much something that crystallized itself throughout the beta, and that is Lamia just fits into pretty much every single team because you get good damage and really huge utility in the lifesteal, and overall just a good amount of synergy with pretty much any team you could be building. So most of the time you have, for example, again, this is a Lamia. So you have a Lamia, then a healer, a support type healer in a cappella, and then another 2 damage dealers, or for example, even another tank if you need to be even tankier. So easily enough, the second fight, so the Spirit Keiko Demon, is an incredible place to use her in. Insatiate Spirit also has an AoE phase, so if you haven't made it to the second fight and you still want to beat the Red King of Star Valley fully, he also has an AoE phase where you can just use your skill to get rid of that. In Blood Arena, just in Blood Arena, she's also going to be really useful because even in auto fights, you're going to get to heal the range in which her attacks bounce, and the fact that they bounce on every single one at least once also lead to you pretty much not failing that skill. So in Blood Arena, she's going to work. Having her ready for whenever you get to the Gauntlet after 12-3 is going to be quite useful. In the Tower of Purification, she's going to be incredible. Having her as a Bloodborne, for example, if we take a look at the current Bloodborns, let's say the Bloodborne Tower, you have you have a tank, you have a damage dealer, and you have another damage dealer. But where's the healing, right? Getting to like proper healing, proper survivability. Yes, you've got a Iona, but the Bloodborns are a bit, a bit light when it comes to more survivability, or even in general like overpowered unit types. So just adding in a Lamia right here, also huge improvement, and a probably staple unit if you want to have any chance at climbing into any reasonable direction to be able to get yourself these shards. I mean, overall, what are you looking at? This is safe heal. This is safe suicide. This is an assassin. This is a warrior assassin. So yeah, this isn't all that great. So she fits in perfectly in allowing you to climb further as a Bloodborne. And then it's obvious, right? We talked about it. If you're especially at the point where you really are pushing, like for example, we are, let's say 2000 BP below, it is important that you at least be able to survive the initial onslaught of the enemies, to then strike back, or to at least wear them down, to at least hold out. So healing comes in super, super clutch. Furthermore, there will also be event stages and all that, where she's going to help you as a beginner get through the full stages to give you the full rewards and everything like that. Time War Mausoleum, do we even have to talk about it? This mode is made for AoE damage dealers. This mode legit was created for them at the end of the day. You just go in, put her in, and at this point she's probably going to solo it. We don't yet know what like her exclusive artifact is going to look like, but we can be quite certain it's going to be pretty fucking strong. Like, most of them are all super strong, and hers will be no different. So, for example, if you don't have a proper damage dealer for the Time War Mausoleum, let's recap again. Time War Mausoleum, amazing. Tomb of the Fallen, amazing. Dutchman's Revenge, obviously irrelevant. Blood Arena, amazing. Infinite Abyss for both the normal tower push and the Bloodborne tower push, amazing. Especially because the Bloodborns are a bit light on units. Overall story, amazing. So I hope this kind of made it a bit more clear why everybody's so hyped for Lamia and everybody's throwing around that name like there's no tomorrow. And as always, we see each other in the next one. Peace!